segment, we unpack the raw, unfiltered moments that test our resilience and push us to evolve, like me doing intros. That's how do I mess these up every time so often? All right, but before we get too far in, remember you can go find us at latenightLove.us. You do that /live thing and you can watch the live shows there. You will see the live shows there. You can always send us your questions, comments, suggestions, all that various good stuff to love@latenightLove.us, and do the good favors and like, subscribe, comment. Well, even though we don't answer our comments, which we probably should do.
Oh, yeah.
So we do get a handful on YouTube and things like that. You know, on ones like Rumble, they're always just scammers and whatnot, and who knows? But we should probably check.
That'd be a good idea, hon.
Well, they're not really scammers. They're people who are trying to sell their SEO services and whatnot. So I don't know if I'd necessarily call them scammers, but they're people trying to hustle there.
They're not private. They're business.
Yeah. So it's probably rude to call them scammers. So, but you know, in those days when everything feels like it's kind of piling up, you know, the job is draining you, you got the unexpected twists and turns of everyday life kind of throw you off balance. And you're just trying to figure out how to keep everything together until tomorrow, right? that's you know, that's some of those things. And so it reminds me, you know, I've had kind of one of those weeks, and you know, there's always kind of issues and whatnot when you're talking budgets and things. So it reminded me of the conversation, putting the shows together and kind of everything in the world at the moment. It reminded me of a show, Sports Night, from many, many years ago. And there was a story in it. And he goes, you know, a wise man was once asked, does it matter how one falls? And it's when the fall that's all that's left, it matters much. You know, what does that mean? Well, it's, you know, just watching, you know, football started up. So we'll use a football analogy. You know, it's a wonderful thing in a way to watch proud and accomplished athletes, you know, get back out on the field and having to keep play despite the fact that they're in a, you know, and winning a situation. They're not going to be able to come back and win. It's 50-20 with 10 minutes in the fourth left in the fourth quarter, right? You're not coming back to win, but yet you
they pile it on. They still bring it. You
as a proud and accomplished athlete still have to go out there and do your job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so all you've got left is the end of the game, but it matters how you play to the end of the game. The fall matters. How you fall matters. It's one thing to fall. It's another thing to fall apart as you fall. So something to contemplate as people go through the next week or so. You know, how you carry yourself matters, even if just to you. All right, so let's get started, Lovey.
Okay. My boss is trying to incite animosity between my coworkers and I. How should I handle this, and who would I even report it to?
Well, frankly, if your boss, this kind of depends, right? You're a big mega corporation and you actually have a boss has a boss to deal with. Technically, that's what you do, right? But if it's a small place, the boss is the person who signs your checks. You look for another place to work. You don't want to be working in that environment anyway. And the third thing to do is don't take the bait. Don't feed the trolls. Whatever his agenda may or may not be, you don't have to play along.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got your 3 options. Well, 2, I might look to leave it if you have a boss to go to, but the boss probably knows and puts up with it for reasons. So, but you could try that.
Put up with it?
Yeah. Maybe in the long term, it has a history of working. Weeds out the kind of people they do want and they don't. Some people thrive in those kind of environments. Others don't. I'm not making a judgment call. I'm just saying So, and if it's the wrong environment for you, you don't want to work there. That's how you suck the soul out of everything you do in life, right? Is having to go to a place that you hate every day. So, my suggestion, if the place puts up with it, then you find a different place. Now, it's not always easy. So, it's easier said than done.
Easier said than done.
But it is the ultimate.
But now, do you believe in that adage? It's easier to find a job when you have a job.
Well, yes and no. I mean, in a sense, yes, because you're hired, so people are more willing to hire you. But no, on the second chances, because how many opportunities are going to miss because you are too busy working? The person without the job has 10, 12 hours a day to go off and look for work. The person who's working has 3 or 4, right? Under the same, at best. So just I'm not saying one's easier or different challenges. You're facing different challenges. So I'm not going to say one's easy.
Okay.
One is less soul crushing.
Yeah.
Well, having to look for work while you're trying to figure out how to pay your bills and having people turn you down. You would have likely gotten turned down anyway because there's likely someone better than you. But it's soul crushing when you don't already have a job in your pocket to go out and have to essentially beg someone to give you a job. It just is. In a sense, I've always found it kind of dehumanizing until I learned that I was actually interviewing them for the job as well. And I even the playing field in my own head. And that made it better. So
Made for more interesting interviews, I'm sure.
Yeah. You need me more than I need you. Is kind of my attitude going in. And you'd be surprised how well that actually works. But it's not necessarily for everybody. Because you actually have to actually believe it. And so everybody always
That's the trick, right?
Everybody always needs me more than I need them. So that's
well, yeah. True. They just don't know it yet.
They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Okay, what's next?
Coworker died. Management asked us not to speak to each other. Yeah, and this was apparently it was a suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And they said only positive things. Don't talk about it.
I understand the management instinct
Mm-hmm.
for a couple reasons, right? You don't want to have someone else get offended and something that shouldn't be an HR issue becomes an HR issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, but on the other hand, your community, which a workplace is, they're not always positive, but your community has suffered a severe loss and they have to be allowed to talk about it. You can't tell them they can't because it's like telling someone to not think of an elephant. Well, guess what? You just made sure they're going to think of an elephant. Now they're going to talk about being told not to talk about it. You've literally just made it worse. So what do? You talk about it quietly amongst those you can trust, like humans do. And what are they going to do? Write you up for it? Let them. What do you care? Those things are meaningless. No one cares. They may matter if they want to fire you at some point, but a single thing because of a traumatic experience isn't gonna. I've never cared. Just literally have never cared. Do what you want. You're gonna put a note in my file. Ooh, how scary is that?
Yeah, but you get 3 of those and they can fire you.
It's like I went back. You need me more than I need you. You can put 100 of them in there. You're not getting rid of me. And if you do, you'd be sorry. Somebody else will want me.
Okay.
Yeah, what you do is you talk to each other quietly, and they can't tell you what to talk about. But you do want to be respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you want to talk about anything but positive things anyway?
Yeah.
You know? So, all right.
I am so bored at work. Help.
Okay. So, why are you bored?
It was very short.
Well, if you're
Didn't really go into it.
all right, if you're bored at work, here's the thing: find something productive to do. It's going to help you pass the time. So just might as well. You're there. You might as well do it. You've got a job. I'm pretty certain your job isn't just to do the only part of your job isn't to do what you're doing. I'm pretty sure there's other stuff that people would be perfectly happy if you took the initiative and did. And
Take
if you
the
don't know,
risk.
and if you don't know, ask somebody. you know, it's the rare person who's willing to go to a boss and say, "Hey, I need more to do." Most people are afraid to do that because then they think the boss is going to know they don't have enough to do. But what the boss is going to see is that I can give them more, and it actually makes them happy because it does. You're bored. You want to pass the time. Give me more paperwork. I don't care. I cannot just sit here staring, counting ceiling tiles any longer. Right? Give me actual work. For the love of God. You're paying me how much to sit here? Something. Can I clean the sink? What do you want from me? Start collecting trash, whatever it is. If there's something needs to be done to,
Recyclables. There we go. You're in
Take-
charge of recyclables now.
take some initiative, find something to do. Check your job description. Maybe there's something you're not doing and they've kind of forgotten it's in your job description. So go figure it out. Take on a tough project. We like it when you take on tough projects, even if you fail. We like the fact that you're willing to take it on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good for your growth, right? So don't be
It
bored.
really is. You don't have to be bored.
Don't be bored. Refuse to be bored.
Refuse.
Do
There
something.
you go.
All right.
How not to overshare, but seem personable. Keep it casual. What is this overshare?
Yeah, people don't need to know. Okay, you can talk about your favorite dessert, your favorite foods. Those are always good.
That's good. You talk about your kids, you talk about the weather, what show you watched, that you're every night. Get them to watch it. You can talk about that.
Yep. Keep your health problems superficial at most, if you even talk about them at all.
Ooh, yeah.
Because the only thing you want is maybe you have a common health thing that you can actually bond over. So it's not that you want to completely ignore them, but you do not want to make it a main course staple of, conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been dealing with this for a while. Keep it light and ready to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they're interested. Maybe their wife is dealing with the same thing, or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. But keep it light. Keep it superficial until you find something that you can engage more deeply on. And maybe you never do. Maybe it's just superficial stuff back and forth. Second thing to do is pretend to be actually interested, at least superficially, on what they talked about. Cool. I know somebody who did that. Seems like it could be fun.
Yeah. Interested in what they get people to talk about them. Get them to talk about themselves.
Yeah. You don't even, it's not that hard.
Become the good listener.
Yeah. It's the
There you
mirror
go.
thing. It's the mirror thing. So you just do it. Most people, they're afraid of saying something wrong. So again, keep it superficial, keep it light until you find some mutual conversational piece that you can actually engage on in a deeper way. And that way, because which is what you're looking for. No one hates purely superficial conversation. That's small talk. No one really likes that for a long period of time. You've spoken for a half an hour and you said nothing, right? No one really likes that. But the point of that is to try and find a thing you can talk about.
That something that a shared interest.
Yeah, of some form. Of some form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Time off following a conference. Okay, they had a 3-day conference and they had to work 12-hour days for this conference. And now then they want you to just go back to work the next day, la-di-da, 8 hours,
And
she wants to take the day off.
take the day off. Hopefully you have some personal time off. Just take the day off. I don't have any problem with you taking the day off, but to expect it, you're coming from someone who used to have to work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, for essentially all summer long without any air conditioning and warehouse making assembling parts. You're not going to get no sympathy from me because you work 12 hours in a conference for 3 days. And that's just part of your job. Yeah, you got to go back from the next day to clean up from the conference and put everything back together, assemble all the, whatever notes you have, count your inventory, all the stuff that has to get done post-conference, right? There's all kinds of things that have to get done post-conference, post-game analysis, so to speak. You got to go through all that. So, yeah, you're expected to go back and do your job. Imagine that. Does it suck? Yes. Both of these things can be true. I don't understand how people don't understand these days that both of these, it can suck and it can still be your job and you just have to kind of do it because it's how life is.
Like my sister used to say, she still says it. Ooh, I don't like that I said that. Anyway, it's no happy fun time. It's work. That's why they call it work.
Yeah.
If it were happy fun time, they'd call it happy fun time.
It'd be called vacation. And so that's
yeah.
That's why they have different names for those things. All right. We got our last question for the night on this question. Not night. Last question for this segment.
We got 2.
Do we? Oh, yes, we do. Sorry.
Wouldn't tuition reimbursement with a company be a no-brainer for the company to promote you?
Well, just because tuition reimbursement programs, generally speaking, apply to anybody in the company. They don't go out and seek out a person and say, hey, you go get some education and we'll pay for you as an individual, right? They're kind of generic for anybody. So no. They think of it as like health insurance. It's just something they pay as your compensation package. It's got nothing to do with your theoretical promotional opportunities. Now, from their perspective, theoretically, 100 people go through the program. 6 or 7 of them may be worthy of promoting to upper management or something like that because of it. The rest is personal development. Great for them. Go out and start your own business or whatever. It's part of the cost of doing business. Part of the cost of being a good employer is helping your employees, self-actualize and all that great stuff. Fine. But you as an individual, they don't care about you as an individual. They really don't. They're just looking at pure numbers. One of you is, or, 1 or 2 of you is going to pay off in the long run. It's going to pay for everybody else. So ride somebody else's coattails. Maybe you're the person carrying the coat. Don't know, but it's not a no-brainer. It's not the point of the program.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
Now, if
it should go to everyone.
Yeah. Now, if they come to you specifically as part of your individual compensation package, it's not as something that's routine given to kind of every employee who's worked 1,000 hours this year or whatever it is. Whatever the level of goal you have to achieve. If it's just you or they single out people for a leadership program or something, that's a little different.
Yeah.
They've singled you out for a leadership program. But if you're just partaking in the generalized program, it's got nothing to do with you, my friend. Sorry, they don't care about you that much. Nothing personal. They can't. They got however many thousand employees or whatever. They got to care about everybody equally, which means everybody gets cared out about that much. Sorry. Sorry to break everybody's bubble about how life works. Okay.
Okay, last one for this segment. Okay. My childhood bully works at my job and tries to talk to me sometimes. Very uncomfortable for me.
Okay, now they didn't say he was trying to bully them or anything, so he's just trying to have a conversation. So here's the thing. Here's an opportunity for you to do this thing called heal and grow. You can engage with them pleasantly and actually bring it up. This conversations are actually quite uncomfortable with me because of our past, and I'd like to try and get past it. Give them an opportunity to apologize for being a butthead as a kid. Yeah. And you can both move on. Maybe one of the reasons he wants to talk to you is he's trying to figure out how to apologize to you for being a butthead as a kid. He doesn't really know how. So give him the opportunity. And you can both grow.
A beautiful thing could happen here.
It doesn't have to necessarily be beautiful. It can just be, you no longer have to.
I think it's beautiful. She no longer has that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it could be a beautiful friendship. Maybe you just no longer have to carry that burden.
That's what I mean. She doesn't carry that burden. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
If something else happens, well, that's just gravy.
Yeah.
But that's not what she's going, I don't think, going for here.
That's not the point of going for it. But you do have an opportunity to do something that a lot of people never get to do.
Yeah.
And
confront their bully.
You don't even have to, not even as a confrontation. You just don't need to be confrontational.
No.
It's not.
Maybe that was not the right word.
But you do have an opportunity at what people call closure.
There we go. Yeah.
Maybe you get it, maybe you don't, but you have an opportunity.
A lot of people don't get that.
All right. Yeah. So that wraps up our dive into life's unexpected journeys. Hopefully some great takeaways on the handling of the chaos with some grace. Have a good night. And please remember to love everybody.
Good night.